Hey, welcome everybody. Oh my gosh, it is the final of the winter webinar series. That's right. We've done, including today, 8 of these so far. And this is the final one for this winter. But as you guys know, we're always looking at ways to continue to add value and share with you everything that we're doing right now in the field. Welcome, welcome. Today we're talking seller lead generation and seller lead conversion strategies. And it is me and only me today because this, as you may know, is absolutely my favorite topic. So as we do with each and every one of these sessions, of course, I know a lot of you will end up listening to this later on the podcast. Each and every one of these sessions, I want to know, which is still to this day, even during our last session, we still have first timers on. It's crazy to me that this is first time you're seeing a Glover U webinar of its kind. So if you're on for the first time, do me a favor and throw down in the chat your city, your state, and first timer. I want to see my first timers. Now, before you hit enter, a little tip. It defaults to panelists and hosts. Change that to everyone so everyone can see your comments today. Everyone can see where you're coming from. So go ahead and change that from panelists and hosts to everyone, and also do city, state, or city and province. I know we've got people from all over North America and other countries as well. If you're joining us from another country live this morning, make sure you drop that into the chat as well. I love seeing all of our first timers on. Great. Palm Springs in the house, Montana, Georgia, Canada, Phoenix. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Some local Michiganders. Cool, cool. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jeff Glover. For you first timers, listing and selling real estate now for 20 years this May, believe it or not. And I'm right here in Detroit, Michigan. I'm still on the ground with you, taking anywhere from myself personally, 7 to 10 listings per month. Our team, we're averaging between 55 and 70 listings per month. In fact, January, just last month, we had 60 listings taken. Yes, that's 60 in a listing scarce market. So, of course, what did I do? I went and took a look at where did all those listings come from? And as I do with any sort of workshop, I'm only sharing with you things we're doing that are working right now. I know you have a lot of options. I know you have a lot of choices. I know there's a lot of people out there claiming to be real estate entrepreneurs, CEOs, coaches, and all this other stuff that they put after their name. And the reality is I'm not actually claiming any of that. All I'm claiming is that I sell a lot of real estate. And so that's why I hope that you continue to join us for these webinars for our return. I hope you continue to come to our events because we're only going to share with you things that are working right now. I'm never going to share something that I read in a book. I mean, unless it's a really cool quote. I'm never going to share something I heard in a mastermind group or, something that, oh, so-and-so is doing this in this city and in this state. Nope. Only going to share with you what's working and what's profitable. And I hope you can appreciate that we're on the ground with you. All of our coaches are on the ground with you as well. By the way, speaking of being on the ground, I sell between 75 and 100 homes per year myself personally. Our team sold 944 homes just last year in 2021. So it's always real, it's always relevant, and it's always listings focused. And I believe that's probably why a lot of people follow what we're doing, because we've always been focused on listings. So today's content I put together based on really two things. I went and took a look at not just last month. I looked at January because I wanted to know, hey, if I'm going to stand in front of a camera and say, this is right now what we're doing, I needed to know. So I went and tallied up all of our sources of listings in January, and I included them in my notes. And then I also went back into the last 6 months of 2021, because the reality is sometimes you have a month that's a little skewed. One source does better than another. I didn't want to share with you notes based on just what we did 1 month. Instead, I wanted to share with you what we were doing to average between 55 and 70 listings taken per month in the last 6 months of 2021. So I've got the goods. I'm going to jump into them. Now, for those of you that are on for the first time, but quite honestly, all of you should have a workbook. Do me a favor, make sure you've got your workbook handy. I know they probably have thrown that down in the chat. If they haven't yet, that will be in there in the chat. All you have to do is click on the PDF and print, or click on that link and print it out. If you haven't had a chance to get that printed, you've got a few minutes before I start getting into the notes. And for those that have the workbook, but maybe you don't print because you like typing on your computer and so forth, that's totally fine. Just from time to time, I'm going to reference a few things in the workbook, and it's a good idea to have it maybe minimized on the bottom of your computer there, so that way you can pull it up if need be. All right, so first things first, do me a favor. For those of you that have your workbook, whether it's printed or you've got it up on your screen, do me a favor and turn to page 3 in your workbook. Go ahead and turn to page 3 in your workbook. This is what's called the resource checklist. Now, most of you who've been on these before, you already have access to all these resources. You know where to find them. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on them. Even for our first timers, you can pretty much follow the instructions on how to get these resources. But do me a favor, turn to page 4, the first blank page in your workbook, or if you're taking notes on a computer, open up a clean Word doc or Google Sheets or whatever you're using to take notes. And I want to share with you just a couple of the resources that I would say are our most popular, at least in the last 12 months. Many of you already are on some of these. So first things first, do me a favor, write down the number 55444. It's 5 digits, 55444. Write down that 5-digit number for me, please. And next to that, I want you to write the word morning. Write the word morning next to 55444. What you're writing down is a way to access our daily text message. I send out a message every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday relating to real estate sales and business. Sometimes it's inspirational. Sometimes it's a tactic. Sometimes it's, hey, I was on a listing appointment last night. Here's what they said to me. Here's how I handled it. Right now, we're going through a series of 21 ways to take 21 listings this winter. In fact, we just completed number 20. Tomorrow, we'll do number 21. Anyways, it's absolutely free. If you want to sign up, all you have to do is open up your text messages. I'll show you how to do it as if you're texting somebody brand new. The phone number, you guessed it, 55444. So just type in 55. I'll do it with you, 55444. All right, so pretty simple, 55444. And in the body of the message, you're just going to type morning. That's it. Just type morning in the body of the message. Again, many of you have already subscribed to this, so you know how this process works. This is absolutely free. Every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday, I'm sending out a message that relates to the real estate industry, specifically sales and business. That's the first resource I wanted to make sure I shared with you. The second, and by the way, we've got several thousand people on that from all over the United States. Now, if you're in Canada, the service does not work in Canada yet. You've probably heard this before if you've been on one of our webinars. We're working on a solution. In the meantime, a good solution, by the way, is to be in our inner circle. So that'd be the next thing I'll share with you. If you open up your Facebook app, it's real simple. Just go ahead and open up your Facebook app. There's a little magnifying glass next to your messages. You're going to type in Glover space, the letter U, space inner circle. All right. It'll look like that. Glover U inner circle. You're going to click on that. It's going to ask you if you want to join. Before you just click a few buttons and say yes, yes, yes. One of the questions, and I get it because you're on a webinar, hey, I don't have time for this. I'll go back and do this later. That's fine. If you want to just write down Glover U Inner Circle, that's fine too. One of the questions it's going to ask you is if you'd like to subscribe to our quarterly publication. All right. We produce 35,000 copies of these, and we send these out to agents across North America. All right. And yes, Canada, you do receive these. Last edition was 74 pages of real estate sales and business information. Totally free. I pay for the printing. I pay for the postage. If you want to receive this in your mailbox when we send it out, it's going to ask you where you'd like us to send that to. All right. That's called the Glover Gazette. Now, if you're alreedy in the inner circle, you're like, Jeff, I'm in the inner circle, but how do I sign up for that magazine? Real simple. Just go to gloveru.com/Gazette. gloveru.com/Gazette. There's a spelling of it for you. All right. And that's how you can get your hands on this absolutely free magazine. We send that out quarterly, about 35,000 copies. And there you go. You see the links to all that stuff in the chat. So take advantage of that. The last thing I wanted to point out before we get into today's topic is in the back of your workbook. You're probably always hearing me talk about exposure. Okay, in the back of your workbook, I wanted to make sure you know of our event that's coming up. And I'm not going to stand here and sell it to you. But basically, the last 2 pages in our workbook is where they talk about our Live Unreal retreat. All right. All of you get $50 off right now. Okay. The code is on there for you. So make sure you take advantage of that. The code only is good for today. So you have to go check it out and sign up for it today to get the $50 off. But I'm constantly talking to agents about exposure. Who are you exposing yourself to? Where are you getting ideas from? Where are you getting new systems and strategies from? You get them by going to events. All right. So in the back of your workbook, you'll see the last 2 pages with the agenda. That's our Live Unreal retreat. That's always fun. We have a good time up in Traverse City, Michigan. Okay. So, and then the last thing, since this is the last webinar, right? We've had 8 of these, including today. Lead Up. A lot of you have had questions about our event that we announced. We're not promoting it super heavily because it's really just for brokers, owners, and leaders of teams, right? We do have some sales directors that are coming as well. If you go to gloveru.com/lead up, I would recommend you take a peek at that. And if it seems like something you or your broker, you or your company owner, you or your lead agent, you or someone on your sales team or leadership team should be attending, definitely take advantage of it before it's sold out. We've sold 90 out of 125 tickets. I promised that we were going to keep the audience small and going to be very high level. In fact, there's minimum requirements to get in. We've already refunded. It drives me crazy. For those of you that know me well, we're always sell more tickets, get more seats, get more people, bigger event, bigger event, bigger event. Well, we're actually refunding money and sending registrations back to people who don't qualify. So check that out. That's gloveru.com/lead up. And that's specifically for team leaders, brokers, owners of companies, owners of teams, and people in leadership or sales management. All right. That's called, that's a brand new event, by the way. That's called the Lead Up. There was so much demand for it. We decided to finally do it. And we think we're probably going to do one each and every May. Again, that's gloveru.com/lead up, LEADUP. Okay. So let's jump into what you're all here for, right? Most effective seller lead gen conversion strategies. All right. Check your email for the workbook. And of course, check the chat as well. They'll be throwing that in the chat from time to time. So you might be thinking, Jeff, I was on this session with you in the spring. What's going to be different about this time around? Sorry, I got to grab my morning Heineken. I'm kidding. It's Perrier. All right. I drink a lot of sparkling water. It's Perrier. You might be wondering, Jeff, I was on this same webinar. I did a spring seller lead generation strategy. Jeff, I was on this last spring. Why do I need to be on the 2022 one? Well, that is because we are constantly looking at where our seller business is coming from. And as soon as we see changes in where our business is coming from, our seller business is coming from particularly, we share it with you. And I promise to continue to do that. In fact, at our event in Traverse City this August, the focus, as most of our events, will be on seller lead generation, seller conversion, seller listing appointments, and so forth. In fact, there was an event we did in the summer of 2019 where I did my listing presentation from the stage. Well, a lot has changed since I did my listing presentation from the stage in the summer of 19, obviously. And we've decided the summer of 2022, you've heard it here first. We have not publicized this yet, but I'll be doing a live listing presentation again from the stage up in Traverse City. So why am I doing it again? Because you could say, Jeff, couldn't you just play the video? Couldn't we just go buy the video? Things have changed since 2019. And so therefore our listing business has changed. What else has changed? I want you to write these down and I want you to pay attention to these as it relates to your business, not just with sellers, as it relates to your real estate brokerage, as it relates to your team, as it relates to sales, buyers, sellers, all of that. Okay. And I wrote down the way consumers consume information has changed. The way consumers consume information has changed. Now, many of you, if you were at the summit we just had down in Orlando, we opened up the summit with these. So bear with me while I go through these. I'm actually going to go through them rather quickly. So what has changed in the way consumers consume information? I wrote down consumers are smarter today and have more at their fingertips. They're smarter today and they have access to more information. So if they're smarter and they have access to more information, the methods we use to generate seller opportunities has to reflect that. I gave the example, the value of the free CMA. The value of the free CMA is declining. Why? Because they can go get it on their own, right? You can go to any site out there you want and get a CMA on your home. That's number one. Number two, I wrote down consumers want faster responses, faster results, faster everything. Think instant. Everybody expects faster results today. Everyone expects faster responses. Everyone expects faster offers. Everyone expects faster turn times. Everything's faster today. Think instant. That's number two. Number three, I wrote down consumers want more assurance. than ever before. And evidence is showing that they're okay taking less for the guarantee. Consumers want more assurance than ever before, and evidence is showing that they are okay taking less for the guarantee. Think about iBuyers. Why are iBuyers having success? Basically, an iBuyer is saying, I guarantee you, you're going to net less out of the sale, but I also guarantee you're going to sell this home. And sellers are taking it. In some markets, 10% of the market is iBuyers. It's crazy to me, but it's real. Assurance. We underestimate the value people put on assurance and guarantees. That's number 3. Number 4, I wrote down consumers expect a higher level of professionalism because the amount they're paying us has increased as prices have increased. They're no dummies. They know that the value of their homes have gone up. And if your percentage stays the same or even comes down a little bit, they're still putting more money in your pocket. So therefore, the level of professionalism that we have to offer to the consumer, the expectation that they have is higher. Next, I wrote down, consumers consume media and information differently today than ever before. Watch this. They actually trust what they see on social media. Now, this isn't any sort of, political statement or anything like that, but the reality is they actually trust now what they're seeing on social media. They're using social media as an information source, where before it was used as, hey, graduation, family reunions, who's getting married, they kept up with the Joneses. Now they're actually using it as a way to get their news and their information. All of these are important because it means you have to modify the way you generate seller business. That's why I'm starting off with this. If you're wondering, hey, when are we going to get to the good stuff, Jeff? When are we going to get to where your listings are coming from? You have to understand this part first before we get into the sources and why the sources we use work. I wrote down consumers, and I hate this one, but it's the reality. Consumers are less loyal to those that have done business with in the past. Consumers are less loyal today. The reality is they're less loyal because things are so easy to get at their fingertips, or things are easier to do, or the market's moving so fast that they don't need to pay us a full commission. So they're less loyal to us, especially the younger generations. Next, I wrote down consumers don't want to be sold on anything anymore. Consumers don't want to be sold on anything anymore. They want to be able to make an informed decision based on what they see and what they read. Consumers want to be able to make an informed decision based on what they see and what they read, not so much what they hear anymore. See the difference? They're not asking your neighbor for a referral. They're going on social media. Next, finally on this one, consumers do want a professional salesperson in their corner who understands today's methods of communicating, marketing, messaging, and transacting business. Consumers do want someone who understands today's methods of communicating, marketing, messaging, and transacting business. All right, so let's start with some of the things that we've seen over the last 6-12 months and why we've updated our material or our information based on where our listings are coming from. One of the biggest differences is what we've seen in contacts. What do I mean by contacts? Well, you've heard the definition before. A contact used to be, by the way, a hello from a decision-making adult. That definition in real estate sales or in sales in general has been around for decades. A contact used to be a hello from a decision-making adult. Now, if you've been to our events over the last few years, you've heard me update that definition to a contact is a response from a decision-making adult, which means they could tell you to get lost over text message. They could tell you to get lost over social media, over email, over whatever. As long as they respond with something, it's a response from a decision-making adult. So therefore, it's a contact. Well, one of the reasons why it's important to constantly look at where you're generating leads from and the methods that you're using to generate them is because the way we get contacts, just using this as a for instance, has changed. So let me give you an example. 3 to 5 years ago, I could say with confidence, if you prospect for 1 hour, you can average 10 contacts per hour, meaning like 10 hellos from a decision-making adult. Today, that same 1 hour, you might get 6 or 7 hellos. Now, of course, I get it. For those of you that prospect with intensity, you might get more than 10 some hours, but also there's some hours, if you know, where it might only be 5 or 6. Well, what I'm seeing right now is the typical hello is only happening 6 or 7 times per hour. It used to be an average of 10, but you can still make 10 contacts per hour. You just have to get them elsewhere. You have to get the contacts through at the door, through social media, through text messaging, through email, and you can easily get back up to 10 contacts per hour. So the reason why I'm kind of starting off with planting that thought in your mind is the methods of yesterday are still effective. The scripts of yesterday, although we've modified ours to some degree, are still effective. But we have to use other mediums, other ways of communicating, not just dialing a phone and getting somebody to say hello. Now, the reality is someone opening their door and saying hello, or somebody answering their phone and saying hello, is still going to be the most effective. Why is that? Well, rapport can be built a lot faster when you hear someone's voice. Rapport can be built a lot faster when you look someone in the eye. Rapport can be built a lot faster when you're mimicking and mirroring their body language. And so those methods are still going to be what I'm going to recommend as first and foremost. And that's why when agents start with our team, we teach them that first, because that is the most effective. Getting face-to-face or getting someone to pick up the phone and say hello. But what's becoming a very close second or a close third is getting someone to respond to a text message, getting someone to respond to an email. And I want you to be mindful of how much time you're spending on your text message techniques, if you will, and your email techniques. Are you incorporating those in your regular prospecting or your regular lead generation routine? Okay, so I wanted to make sure we got that understanding. And also, I shared this from the stage down in Orlando, again, going back to contacts per hour and so forth. We also have to be mindful of just using an example of today, prospecting today versus prospecting 5 years ago. We did a live prospecting demonstration on the first of the year, Justin Ford and I, our prospecting bootcamp coach, down in Florida. And he and I were going head to head. Where we rented a big hotel room with plenty of room for us to spread out and prospect. And he showed up in the morning. We prepared. We got all of our scripts. We got all of our numbers. We were all set, ready to go. And then we went live on Zoom. Many of you may have been on that. And this has been a tradition for years, by the way, or at least me prospecting on New Year's Day, and our team prospecting on New Year's Day has been a tradition. Well, what was interesting is during that process is I was getting more people to answer the phone than Justin was. And for those of you that were on, you might remember him saying like, gosh, it seems like, everyone's answering for you and not as many people are answering for me. Well, the difference in that scenario is I made sure before I left for Florida, because I went down there for the Michigan game, before I left for Florida, I made sure that I was calling from a number that didn't show up as possible spam on the cell phone. I know that's something a lot of you prospectors are dealing with right now. And so I made sure that I used an office number that we've had established for years that didn't show up as possible spam. And so here I am making calls just like he is, and he's not getting people to answer. He's using his cell phone, of course, as his return number or some other number. And we figured out that might have been the difference maker. So it's things like that that you have to consider when it relates to prospecting in 2022 now versus the way you prospected 3 to 5 years ago. You have to think of things like that. So before we get into the new sources, there's one thing I want you to do, and many of you have already done this because you've taken our business plan. By the way, if any of you are currently operating from the Glover U business plan, I want to hear from you. I want to see it. Go ahead and throw down in the chat if you're using the Glover U business plan. Let us know if you're using that plan, or if you're wondering how to get your hands on it, we'll have our staff throw that in the chat as well. So go ahead and throw in the chat. If you're operating from the Glover U business plan, I want to see who's using it. Make sure you're changing your settings to everyone. So thank you for that. A few of you are saying you're not seeing when they say hosts and panelists. So a lot of comments are coming into hosts and panelists. Make sure you change that to everyone before you send out your comment. Anyways, all of you should be operating from our plan. That's the exact same plan that I'm using in my business. That's the exact same plan that our team members are using. Anyways, in that plan, one of the sections is a double down plan, a double down plan. By the way, I saw the text option. You can also go to gloveru.com/plan. If you go to gloveru.com/plan, you can get it that way as well. But one section of the plan is where I talk about doubling down on a source of business. And so I wrote down every single person on this session should look at where their listings came from last year before you add another source. All right. And I'm going to give you new sources to work with. But before you add another source or a new technique, where did your business come from last year? I want you to identify where your listings came from. And if you have one that's kind of a standout, man, I did, 27 deals last year and 18 of them were from my database. Okay, you got something there. I did 27 deals last year and 18 of them were from open houses. I did 27 deals last year and 18 of them were from expireds. Awesome. You got something there. That means that particular source, whatever is your largest source, or a source that's trending in the right direction, meaning trending in terms of ROI or trending in terms of results that you were starting to see in the last half of the year. That's a source that you should double down on. What do I mean by doubling down? I mean by doubling down on your resources, doubling down on your time, doubling down on your effort, and doubling down on your skills. Resources could mean money, right? Hey, could be, hey, I was using RedX to get expired info, and now I had success with RedX, and I want to add another data source. So we're going to add Vulcan 7, right? We use both Vulcan 7 and RedX for expireds, by the way. So I'm going to add another expired source of data. That's going to be a cost, but it's going to help you get better results with that one source. Or what about doubling down on time? I did 18 deals from expireds last year, and I really only worked them about an hour a day. Well, what if you worked them 2 hours a day? Could you get 36 deals from expireds? Would that number double? Now, I'm not saying that every result has to double, but could you double down on an effort that would lead to more results? Which is the next one, which is effort. Now, what's the difference between effort and time? Effort is intensity, right? You can put two people side by side and say, hey, we're both going to prospect for 2 hours today. And I promise you, if one is prospecting with more intensity than the other, they're going to get more results. You could double down on your intensity, or you could double down on your skills. Hey, I'm pretty good at this expired stuff, but I've never actually really role played with anybody. Could you be better? Could you get better? Doubling down on your skills. Okay. So one last thing I want to mention before we get into the sources, and I shared this from the stage at our last event in Orlando. I want everyone on this webinar today, or anyone that's listening later on the podcast, I want you to make a decision. Write this down, please. For those of you that were at our summit in Orlando, you've heard this. I want you to make a decision to have a personality-driven, prospecting-based. I want you to make a decision to have a personality-driven, prospecting-based, and marketing-enhanced lead generation strategy. Everyone on this session, everyone listening to this podcast, once it's on the podcast, I want you to make a decision to have a personality-driven, prospecting-based, and marketing-enhanced lead generation strategy. Now, many of you have heard, prospecting-based, marketing-enhanced, or marketing-based and prospecting-enhanced. Jeff, why did you add personality-driven? Here's why. Today's consumer is choosing to do business with who they most feel like they can relate to. People today are going on and researching you prior to you coming out. So therefore, you have to have a pleasing, pleasant, positive, enthusiastic, energetic personality. Honestly, when is the last time you looked around your office, or you looked at the top producers in your office and you thought about, what does my personality have in common with that person? I don't really have a lot in common with that person. Then you're probably missing that point. A personality driven, meaning today's consumer are doing more research. They're going and looking at everything online, reading your reviews, checking out your Facebook. They're doing all this stalking. They want to learn about you and your personality. Before by the way, this was always a thing in real estate. Agents that had pleasant, pleasing personalities have always done better than agents that don't. Now, agents that don't have a pleasant, pleasing personality, there's still hope for you, right? You can still master scripts and master dialogues and role play and chant and work on your enthusiasm and make your call standing up versus slouching, sitting down. Drives me crazy. I'll walk out in our office and I'll see literally people slouching on the phones. Who is going to list their home with you if they're hearing low energy on the phones? Nobody will. When is the last time you checked your personality? Is it pleasing? Is it enthusiastic? Is it energetic? Is it magnetic? Today's consumer wants that more than ever. It was important before, don't get me wrong. Today, even more, because they're making a decision of whether they're going to invite you out, a lot of times based on your personality, because they can do all that research now. Before, when they couldn't find you on Facebook, or when they weren't even looking for you on Facebook, You show up and they're stuck with you for 30 to 60 minutes, and they're just hoping that this is a good use of their time. And of course, if you know your scripts and your dialogues, maybe it was a good use of your time and a good use of their time. Personality driven, prospecting based, marketing enhanced. All right. So I wrote down 10 things that I'm going to share with you now that are things that we are doing to get more seller business. There's a reason why in the last 8 years in the state of Michigan, no one has sold more sales volume than us, and we've always taken more listings than most. That's been our thing. I mean, this year we'll probably have several months where we cross over 100 listings taken per month. We do that every single year. So I'm going to share with you 10 things that when I look at the last 6 months of where our listings have come from and how we're getting business from these sellers, what we're doing differently. And these are in no particular order. So point number one, all right, write these down. Again, you should have a workbook, or if you're following along somewhere, please do your best to document these. Point number one, make video a part of your life. Make video a part of your life. And I'm not talking about the video that you've been hearing about, right? I'm not talking about people saying, oh, you got to have a YouTube channel. You got to do this. Yes, you have to still do those things. There's no doubt. But make video a part of your life, meaning get comfortable with being behind a camera. And I'm not saying a professional camera with lights and everything that we have here. A cell phone camera is all you need, right? A Facebook Live is all you need. Make video a part of your life, not the video you've been hearing about. I'm talking about long form. I'm talking about short form. I'm talking about providing value to communities versus just doing videos about the real estate market, which, by the way, doing videos of the real estate market is just fine too. But when is the last time you did a video that actually added value to your neighborhood in your neighborhood Facebook group? When is the last time you did a video that added value to community of a new restaurant that just opened up? All right, most of you have heard of my Facebook Live hack. I'm going to cover it quickly because I want to get through all 10 of these before we finish up today. The Facebook Live hack, you go live on Facebook, you download the video afterwards, you upload it to YouTube because you have a YouTube channel. Every single person on this webinar this year should have a YouTube channel. And by the way, you should do a video, once a week, maybe. A Facebook Live hack, you're going to then take your YouTube link and you're going to move that over into MailChimp or Constant Contact, and you now have content for an email blast. Make sure that you're updating your video with some sort of cover photo and edgy sentence or title to go along with it. You can't just create a video without having a cover photo. This is all easy to do and easy to edit through YouTube. YouTube has all the basics. Every single one of you can create a YouTube channel and use their tools to create this stuff. By the way, you can go back to the social media calendar, which we've shared that all year last year. It's in the Glover U Inner Circle if you need that. That's a social media calendar for ideas. Take your video and chop it up and use it in your Instagram stories, use it in your Facebook stories. Remember, the demographics of each one of those is a little bit different. The demographics of Instagram is obviously younger than the demographics of the people that are using Facebook. So I want you to be mindful. Don't just share one to the other. You're talking to two different audiences. I want you to share video in Facebook groups. Use the raw video. Don't post a YouTube link. All right. They don't usually like when you post a YouTube link because they don't want you to leave the group. So instead, you have the downloaded video and you upload it to a Facebook group. Could be a neighborhood Facebook group, could be a community Facebook group, could be a buy-sell Facebook group. Most importantly, the best thing about videos today, whether you create a 2-minute video or a 20-minute video, you can chop them up, repurpose them, and use them in different formats. One of the best things you can do with today's tools, you can take that video and a 5-minute video and turn that into 10 different videos based on that one 5-minute video. We have to really get comfortable with making video a part of our life. And this isn't something new. You've heard this before, but are you using it in these formats? Are you using Facebook Live first? So that way you get the benefit of going live on Facebook and notifying all of the people that follow you. Are you then downloading it? Are you then uploading it to YouTube? Are you chopping it up and using it for your stories? Are you changing the narrative or changing the messaging based on Instagram or Facebook? Remember, the demographics are different. Okay, the largest demographic of home sellers today, Facebook. I'm sorry, you Instagrammers, it's Facebook. Largest demographic of home sellers today are on Facebook. That's number one. Number two, modify your offer to sellers. In 2022, you have to modify your offer. Now, modify might be changing, it might be updating. I want you to modify your offer to sellers. And I wrote down after that, what problems can you solve for them? What problems can you solve for them? Okay. Now, the longest offer that's been in existence, all right, you guys have heard this before. What's your home worth? The CMA, right? For those of you that have been doing this for a while, you might remember those little coupons that came in the mail. Hey, cut this coupon out, cut this bad boy out for a free CMA. All right. No, those don't work anymore. I'm sorry. Why? Because people can go get that online. All right. Same thing with guaranteed sale. Guaranteed sale was probably the next hot offer to enter the market. Nothing needs to be guaranteed when everyone knows everything is selling. But you know what's interesting right now, and you know it's a hot offer right now. What would your home sell for cash in 2 weeks? How much cash would I put in my pocket if I accepted a cash offer the next 2 weeks? Hello, those are iBuyers. So I wrote down, instead of what's your home worth, what would it sell for right now, cash? Instead of what's my home worth, what would it sell right now, cash? That's iBuyers. Or could you create a program like we've created called Backed by Cash, where we're actually helping buyers get more offers accepted, and therefore they're listing and selling their homes through us because we are backing their offers with cash. Okay, something you might want to look into. What about a buy now, sell later program? Okay, you can find these. There's companies that are starting to do them. What about a more money, less problems program? We do this. This is where we offer more to the seller. Now they pay more at closing for these services, but we're doing things like cleaning up their house, landscaping, and so forth. What about offering them improvements? During COVID, we created improvemyshelter.com. What if you just let them go through their house, give you suggestions, do a Zoom, whatever, and you're giving them free value? When is the last time you modified your offer to consumers? Are you just doing the typical stuff you've always been doing? You're going to get left behind if you are. That's number 2. Number 3, modify or update your database value add. Modify or update your database value add. How are you communicating with your database? Are you still doing mailings, pop buys? You know, if you're still doing pop buys, by the way, those are effective still. They just take a little time. Here's a trick if you want to cut down the time. Next time you do a pop buy, you know, to visit a past client or someone, always leave the car running and the driver door open. All right. They'll never invite you inside because it appears that you're in a hurry. I shared that in St. Louis and they said, no, you don't do that here. Car running, driver door open. Modify, update your database value add. How are you getting them into your Facebook group? Are you adding every single client as a friend on Facebook? You better be, because if you're not, somebody else is. Are you treating social media as a database, as another way to stay in front of your database? Don't just use, so what's great about social media, you can use it 2 ways. You can use your business, think of it like this. Your business page you can use for advertising to get new people in the funnel. There's no doubt. You can do Facebook lead ads, whatever, with your business page to get new people in the funnel. Your personal profile, you're allowed to have up to 5,000 friends, AKA 5,000 past clients and sphere of influence referring you. Get to 5,000 as fast as possible. I want you to think of your personal profile as your database and your business profile as a way to get new people in the funnel. Okay. Also, what are you sending them? When is the last time you updated what you send to your database? We're doing like themed gift boxes now, 10, 15 bucks a month for our best clients. And what about events? When's the last time you changed an event? You know, you've been doing the same event over and over and over and over again, and it feels kind of stale. Go find another event. Go offer another event this year now that we can get back together. When is the last time you've been able to modify and update your value proposition to your database, which of course then would lead to more sellers? Number 4, I wrote down, in 2022, we are doubling down on for sale by owners. One thing I know about a hot market is there's always more for sale by owners because they have confidence that their home can sell. They see what's happening in the market and they believe that their home can sell. Doubling down on for sale by owners. So what are we doing to double down on for sale by owners? Write these down. We're calling them with the purpose of helping them get their deal to the closing table. Think of the logic in that. Instead of calling to tell them we can get them more or put more money in their pocket and all this, we're just accepting the fact that they can find a buyer on their own and instead going down the path of helping them get to the closing table. Now, of course, there's certain scripts and dialogues that come along with it. Most of you are familiar with our scripts and have them. Doubling down on for sale by owners. In this particular case right now, we're adding direct mail to for sale by owners. We've always done direct mail to expires. We're adding that to for sale by owners. Video text messages, asking the question, hey, pulling out the camera phone, once a day, twice a day. When you find a for sale by owner you really want, hit record yourself. Hi, this is Realtor Jeff Glover. I noticed your home here on Banana Street was for sale by owner, and I'm wondering if you're still accepting offers on this property. If you are, could you give me a call? Thanks. Click send. I'm wondering if you're still accepting offers on this property will get you a lot of responses, video, text. And then I wrote down door knock if you don't have an appointment. You guys know, if you've been following me for a long time, one of our isms, if I didn't have an appointment today, seriously, what did I accomplish? Go out and see them at their door. If you don't have an appointment, why not? You should be suited up, ready for an appointment every single day. Drives me crazy when I see agents that, unless they're going, out of town or doing something like that, that are coming in casual on a regular work day. What if you have an appointment today? Your attitude towards setting an appointment will be greater if you're suited up, ready for an appointment every single day. Watch, you'll get more appointments set, I promise you. Number 5, modify your expired approach. This is what we're doing. We're modifying our approach to get more expired listings to hire us. You may be surprised by this. In 2021, watch this, in 2021, okay, we were still taking anywhere from 5 to 7 to 10 in some months expired listings per month. A bad month was like 5 or 6. A good month is 7 to 10 expireds per month. Yeah, there's no expireds in our market. Yep, that's what all of our competitors are saying too. Modify your expired approach. Okay, I always start my day with expireds and I end my day with expireds. The first thing I do in the morning, it's the last thing I do when I end my day. Again, the video message I share is that I shared is also effective to them. Also, why not geo-target? All right, you've got a home that comes off the market. You can geo-fence using Google pay-per-click ad services. You can geo-target, geo-fence around that expired listing. That way they're constantly, anything they do, they go to, Walmart.com or they go to Ford.com or wherever they go, your ad is following them everywhere they go. They have their home for sale. Chances are they're going to be relisting it. Consider geofencing. Check with your broker. Make sure that that is legal in your state. Most state it is, but just wanted to make sure. Door knock again, same thing with expires. If you don't have an appointment to go out and go see them at their door. Also, when is the last time you updated your direct mail package? What you mailed to them? When is the last time you updated that? The letter that you send, does it stand out? Does it fit with all the rest of the stuff, the junk mail that they're receiving, or does it actually stand out? We have an agent on our team that for years has, when, every single day she identifies one great expired per day, and then sends them 8. That's right, 8 weeks in a row. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, week 7, week 8. 8 postcards, 8 weeks in a row. She uses an accordion file to keep track of all that. And you better believe that mail is going to stand out. If you want expireds and it's a good one, why not? They've already raised their hand and said they're going to be selling. They've already raised their hand and said they'll pay a commission. They've already raised their hand and said, hey, we'll even have a sign in our yard. Number 5 is modify your expired approach. Number 6, never a crowd favorite, but it has to be said, expand the size of your territory by 60 to 120 minutes. By 60 and 120, that's right, up to 2 hours away for an appointment. Do the math, do the ROI in your time. If I said I had a $5,000 or $6,000 or $7,000 check with your name on it in a different city, would you go and get it? Yes, you would. So why not go on an appointment that's an hour or 2 away? Oh, but it's a different MLS. So you join the board, you join the MLS out there. Well, I don't know the market. Well, you didn't know this market when you first started. Find an agent in that. Well, I don't want to drive out there to show the listing. Cool. You find an agent in that market to work the buyer leads. Find a photographer. Send out a step-in sign. FedEx a step-in sign to them so you don't have to put a sign in, or find a sign company in that market. Create a relationship with a title company in that market, or find a WeWork type situation so that way you can have the closings there as well if your brokerage doesn't have an office out there. You have to expand the size of your territory, especially if you want to take more listings. Number 7, wrote down online reviews lead to higher conversion. Plus, come list me's. Now, you guys have heard me been saying this for years. I wrote down in 2010, people were asking their neighbors about you and your company after you left their home. Keywords, after you left their home. In 2015, they were Googling you and looking you up on Facebook after you left their home. In 2020 and beyond, guess what? They're researching you before they let you come out. So if you've ever had a situation where something came up, They had to reschedule. We changed our mind. We'll get back to you. You better believe there's a good chance, unless they had a family emergency or something like that, there's a good chance that they did some research and they didn't like what they saw online. They didn't like what they saw on your social media. They didn't like what they saw on your reviews. So create a 5-star review program. You guys have heard this for a while. Essentially, we're sending our past clients to gift certificates to restaurants of their choice in order to say nice things about us, or to thank them for saying nice things about us. That's number 7. Got to have a focus on online reviews in 2022 if you haven't yet. Number 8, utilize a Saturday morning strategy. Utilizing a Saturday morning strategy. Now, instead of having the mindset, because most real estate agents I know have the mentality of, oh yeah, if I'm available this weekend for appointments, yeah, I'll be working this Saturday. If anybody wants to list or see homes, I'll be available. No. Actually have a specific schedule of what you do at 8 a.m., what you do at 9 a.m., what you do at 10 a.m., what you do at 11. By the way, I wrote down my schedule for years. 8 to 9 a.m., I prepare for the day. 9 to 10 a.m., I work expireds. 10 to 11, I work for sale by owners. 11 to 12, I either work buyer leads or lead follow-up. And at noon, I'm either done for the day. For years, I had a basic Saturday schedule where I knew I was only working Saturday morning. I was working a half day, or what I would call a 3/4 day. So I'd work from 8 a.m. until noon or 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. And what that meant is then I had an appointment to go on at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2:30, somewhere in that range. Why did I do Saturday appointments? I love Saturday appointments. You know, your best chances of getting a contract signed are on Saturday above all other days. Think about it for a minute. Okay. There's no traffic, so you're likely not going to be late. Both decision makers are there. People are in better moods. There's less distractions, right? They're not thinking about the bad day that they just had at work or what they're going to cook for dinner. And they want to check a chore off the list. So I'll save all my appointments for Saturday. Give me all the Saturday appointments. I love those. So don't just take the mentality that you're available this weekend. Actually have a regimented schedule every Saturday or every other Saturday. And I'm not saying you have to work 7 days a week. I'm not even saying you have to work 6 days a week. I'm talking 5.5 or 5 3/4. You are in real estate. This is the retail sales business. Number 9, which means you're going to have retail sales hours. Number 9, get sellers from buyer leads. This is a big one that I've noticed over the last 6 months. We're getting a lot of seller opportunities from our buyer leads. Why is that? Well, we're setting every single buyer lead up on an automated CMA of their home, right? We're setting every single buyer lead up so long as we have their address. Of course, we have to get their address to do this. And we're setting them up on an automated CMA. Hey, here's what your home's worth. Here's what your home's worth. Here's what your home's worth. You can use pretty much any CRM out there to do that. Or you can just use the MLS for that. Okay. Hosting the buyer consultation at their home is a big one. Closing for the buyer consultation at their home, not the first showing, not at a Starbucks, not at your office. Close for the first meeting at their home. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone while you're there. Promote social media marketing to how you're getting buyer offers accepted. Think about the buyer offers that you have get accepted. Are you talking about them? Are you promoting them? You're going to generate more sellers by sharing buyer success stories. I wrote down under getting sellers from buyer leads, buyers who bought your listings are watching the way you negotiate and handle things. When you're on the other side of the transaction as the listing agent, the buyer and the buyer's agent's on the other side, and they're kind of watching your behavior. They're watching your personality. They're watching how you negotiate. I can't believe how many seller calls we get who were buyers of listings of ours. And they say things like, man, you were really tough with my agent and you got a lot for this seller. We paid a lot for this home. We want someone who's going to fight for us like you did for your clients. Why couldn't you do a direct mail and or email call campaign to buyers of your listings with an update of their home value? Okay, the deal's done. It's closed. There's no contractual obligations anymore. All right. Why not update the buyers of your listings that you had in the past with an idea of what their home is worth today? And then, of course, add them to your database. And finally, number 10, I wrote down, update your pre, during, and post-appointment plan. Update your pre-appointment, your during the appointment, and your post-appointment plan. I wrote down 3 questions under number 10 I want you to write down. What are you sending before you go out? What are they receiving physically in their hands before you go on the appointment? And if they're not receiving anything, then we need to talk. You need to be in our listing mastery program, which I'll talk about in a second. If they are receiving something, when's the last time you updated it? By the way, we update what we send out pre, during, and post every single year. Every 12 months, our marketing material gets an update. B, I wrote down, what are you taking with you? What are you presenting when you get there? Once you get to the appointment, what are you showing off? When's the last time that's been updated? Again, we update ours annually. And finally, C, what do you send after the appointment? What kind of thank you card? What kind of follow-up? What are you sending to them physically after you leave their home? By the way, we cover all of that and more, of course, in our Listing Mastery program, which I know a lot of you have been taking these webinars because you're exploring a different coaching program of ours to take. And being that this is the very last webinar of the winter webinar series, I have just one more program to share with you. And it is our, not only, I wouldn't say it's our most popular, I'd say it's our longest standing, right? Prospecting Bootcamp is always a popular one. Operations Mastery is a popular one. Listing Mastery, though, is the only one, in addition to now Unreal Dialogues, that I do. So if you do me a favor and turn to page, let's see, it is on page 14 in your workbook. Page 14 in your workbook. This is an opportunity for you to spend 16 weeks with me to dive deeper on all of the stuff we just talked about. Dive deeper on the pre-appointment routine, the pre-qualifying process, the pre-listing package. I actually share everything we send out to clients and take on listing appointments in this program. It's 16 weeks. It's 45-minute Zoom live sessions, but they end up being about 50 to 55 minutes because we allow people to ask questions and we have good discussions after I'm done sharing the content. All right, it is a private group. This isn't something we share later. You have to be in the group to be a part of this. So we're together for 16 weeks. It's every Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Our first session starts the 28th. So that's like, I don't know, a week and a half or so from now. If you want more information on this particular program, now this is for people looking to become a listing master. This is without question, this, I would say, of all of our programs are from a listing result standpoint, this is the one if you want to focus on sellers in 2022. All the rest of them are great. I mean, Prospecting Bootcamp helps you generate more seller leads. Buyer Mastery helps you work with the buyers. Of course, once you've generated sellers that, of course, are going to bring you buyers. But Listing Mastery is all about dominating the listing inventory in your market. So if you want information on Listing Mastery, text the word listing to 55444. You see it right there in the chat, 55444. And you'll have an opportunity to join me live. This is one that I do all 16 sessions. And we're taking you from start to finish, literally every single source of seller, where they come from, how to master. You know, I'll spend one whole session just on expireds, one whole session just on for sale by owner, one whole session just on database, right? So we dive deep into the sources. And then once you have appointments set, then we go into, all right, what do you send prior to? What does your pre-appointment routine look like? And then once you're there, what does your appointment look like? What are you sharing? What are you saying? Everyone who goes through this program has an opportunity to record the listing presentation and have me critique it live. So I actually send you back my thoughts on what you can do to make your listing better. A lot of people that have taken this course have said, hey, this is the best thing they've done for their listing presentation. And we do spend a lot of time on the actual presentation itself. But then we get into pricing and handling objections and, of course, post-appointment routines and everything that goes along with listing. So if you're interested in becoming a better listing agent or just becoming a listing agent in 2022, this is the program for you. You text the word listing to 55444. That's how you get more information on it. We'll have at least 50 or 60 people in the program this time around. We like to keep them small. We usually don't let more than 75 or 100 into a program because we want people to raise their hand and ask questions. It's very interactive. It's not just you sitting there and watching a video for 45 minutes. I know for some of us that might drive you nuts. Anyways, I look forward to seeing you on the 28th for our first session. Again, just text the word listing to 55444. Or if you're interested in any one of our other programs, because they all start the first week of March, which technically starts on Monday, February 28th, just go to gloveru.com/programs. You'll see all of our programs there. It's been an absolute honor to be with you guys during these last 8 sessions, these last 4 weeks, spending 2 days a week for at least an hour at a time with you. I loved it. We're going to continue to pour into you guys. I look forward to, if I don't see you in my program, I look forward to seeing you in one of the others or at our event coming up in August, the Live Unreal Retreat. You know how to access that. Just go to gloveru.com/retreat, or for your leaders, for you brokers, for people that want to enhance their recruiting, training, developing, and leadership skills, we'll see you at Lead Up in May. That's in Florida. Just go to gloverU.com/lead up for that. The rest of you, we'll see you around the inner circle. We'll see you somewhere sometime soon. Let's go kick butt the rest of the month. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.